What is up, guys? Alex here with another tutorial video in the GameMaker 2 series. In this video we're going to be covering compiling and debugging and talking a little bit about what that is and showing you some ways we can show some debug messages and just how we do that. So we'll just jump right into it here. So first, whenever you compile your game here, you're going to run it, it'll compile. And compiling is the process of like converting your script into like a playable game. So it like pops up and just runs the code, right? So to get started, all we have to do is click this play button. I got my game here. I've been working on this one a little bit, so I believe it will compile. I don't know if I left it in a state where it will. I didn't try it before this video, but we'll go ahead and see if it'll run here. And so you got this output screen. It's giving us some information about what the game is doing. This is just stuff that can be ignored, and it did pop up over here, my other window, and it's pretty big here. But you can see we have this little guy, and he just kind of hangs out, moves around by himself. We have a little menu. Oh, this is actually the error, and this is actually a good point. So this pops up. This will tell us where the error is. So it's in my build menu title. It has to do with this variable here. It says not set before reading, so we'll investigate that here in a later video. But that is a perfect example for how this output runs. You can see that we got some errors here. It tells us what line we can go investigate. So we'll just go ahead and use this output to investigate what that error was. But this is right where you see it. The next thing you might want to look at are the syntax errors and compile errors here. So when you're debugging something, debugging is the act of basically finding these issues that you have in the code. So you might like forget a bracket, you might have a variable that's declared but doesn't really do anything. So there's different kinds of problems you could have. Sometimes problems will let the game run, like ours didn't. Ours crashed when we clicked that button, but you notice the game was running before that. We can run it again here, and I'll show you some other things we can do with it. It's not that are set yet. Like for example, we can just move our guy around, so I'm controlling him now with the keys. I wonder if we open up these other menus. Yes, we can open up other menus. These aren't built out yet. We can hover. We got some explainers here, but oh, that's sticking. That's another thing we got to fix. See, there's all sorts of little bugs when you're developing a game for the first time, but you use this debugging to figure out where these bugs are, the compile errors and the syntax errors. Compiling won't let it run. A syntax error also probably won't let it run unless it's like declaring a variable that isn't being used. But they're a little bit different, so you can look at these side by side by taking this, click this button right here, drag it over to compile. It'll make these two side by side in one little window, and now you can look at them wherever. You can also drag them out here, make them a free window, especially if you're running stuff or you're doing a lot of compiling right now, or you can click them back down here. But again, so going through this, you can see where the lines are, so it's telling me where the problems are, and it's probably all has to do with I changed a variable name somewhere. I've been doing some refactoring in the back, and I probably just changed a variable name, and now it's just broken on all these different lines. So I have to go through and check all these different lines of code and figure out what's going on with the variable. The cool thing is, though, there is a find and replace deal, so I think you can right click. Oh, it's in the, you have to go into a workspace. No, where's this at? Oh yeah, Control Shift F, there you go. Control Shift F, that brings up our search and replace. So when I go to fix this error, I'm going to figure out what the variable is. I'm going to search for it here, like it might be, I saw titles in it, so let's type in title here. It'll find all the different instances of title in my code, but we put the exact variable in here. We'll replace it with whatever the new variable is. But that's just how you debug your code and how you see if there are issues. The other cool thing is you can use this show debug message function. So like what we might do is let's put them in. I'll move my face over here. We'll put them in John here because I know John walks around. So we'll put this in the step function. So these different functions, we'll go over these events and stuff later. Don't worry about all this. But what we're going to do is place this in code. The step function runs every frame of the game, or as many times as it can get through the code. And so what we'll do is we'll throw this debug thing in here and just show like, oh, we'll just show that this thing ran here with a little string. So what this will do is, hopefully, when we run this down here in the output, every time this thing runs, it'll show that John ran. See, John ran, John ran, John ran. So it's hitting this every time and showing this in the output. But you can see how this would be useful if you were having some problems with like a loop not running or something. You could throw this in the loop to make sure that it is running, just not changing the variable the way you want or something like that. So this show the bug message will just let you put whatever you want to see out here. You could also put variables in here. So like if we hit stop here, we can throw a variable in here. Like we could say this right here. Oh. Messing up there. There we go. We'll copy this variable. We're going to drop it right in here. Now what will happen is every time the frame runs, it'll show us what state John is in. Sometimes he'll be in waiting, sometimes he'll be in walking, and if I take control of him, he'll switch to this user control. So you can see he's walking, 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 waiting, 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 waiting. It's counting up here how long he's been walking or waiting. And then I can also just take control here. Now it says user controlled. If I stop controlling him, the counter will start counting, and as soon as it hits a certain number, he starts wandering again. So that's just one way you can use this to output, and one way you can debug your code. Let me hit stop here. And that's it for this tutorial. This is it for, I think we can get into coding now. We've covered all the basics. If you want to go back and check any of the previous videos, we go over all the different menu bars, these different buttons and stuff like that. We cover all the different things you can do over here with the assets. So definitely check those out. They're only like 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes long. So check those out. I'm trying to make short videos, trying to make them for beginners, just trying to burn through this stuff, make it nice and easy for you. If you've gained anything from this content, please like and sub. It really helps the channel, and I don't have a lot of subscribers right now, so you can always say to people that you knew me before I had even 100 subscribers. So that'd be pretty cool. And thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.